The Nifty gets back above 24,900 as positive global cues lift the Lal Street. Mid-caps underperformed today. The GST Council defers the decision to levy an 18% tax on gateway fee imposed by payment aggregators on debit and credit card transactions below 2,000 rupees. The grants for R&D to universities is now exempt from GST. The council meeting is still underway. Bajaj Housing Finance IPO gets fully subscribed in just 4 hours thanks to strong demand from institutional and retail investors. Electric two-wheeler maker Ather Energy files for a 3,100 crore rupee IPO seeking a valuation of nearly $550 million. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy says the electric mobility promotion scheme will be extended until the third phase of the FAME scheme is rolled out. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says he's not opposed to subsidizing electric vehicles and expects EVs to cost the same as petrol and diesel vehicles in the next 2 years. The Enforcement Directorate files a case against Religair's Rashmi Saluja and other top officials, accuses them of cheating and criminal conspiracy to block the Burman brothers from assuming ownership of Religair. The Supreme Court directs the CBI to file a fresh status report on the alleged rape and murder of a trainee doctor in Kolkata, directs protesting doctors to resume work by 5 p.m. tomorrow. This after the West Bengal government claims 23 people have died due to the doctors abstaining from work. Iran accuses Israel of carrying out a criminal attack in Syria, allegedly killing 14 people. Israel also closes the border crossing between West Bank and Jordan after a gunman killed 3 Israeli security guards. Apple is all set to launch the iPhone 16 with faster processing chips and improved cameras. Apple is also likely to lean on artificial intelligence to spur sales. Also on the show, the average compensation for CEOs of Nifty 50 companies rises to 27 crore rupees in FY24. Who tops the list? A special report coming up. Well, let's start with the market action of the day. Positive global cues did lift the mood on the Lal Street this Monday afternoon after the sell-off that we saw on Friday. So the Sensex finally closing about 370 points higher, the Nifty adding about 84 points. The mid-cap index, though, closing in the red today, while the Nifty Bank was up by about 1%. So that's the story as far as the markets were concerned at the start of the trading session. And Prashant is standing by now to wrap up the market action for us. Prashant, what does the week ahead look like?
Well, we woke up with negative cues from Wall Street. Nasdaq was down 2.5%. S&P had sold off. But mind you, we started with knowing that on Friday, which is the last trading session, the market here had fallen a little over 1% in any case. Back then, we were discussing what was happening. Why was the market selling off? And maybe it paid the price, at least to some degree, one day prior to what the US did. So the market here did sell off promptly in reaction to the bad global cues, but then picked up pace and very, very smartly rebounded. We end with actually, green on the screen and not 10, 20 points, but, 70, 80 points. That essentially was the day today. Thanks to Bank Nifty, which participated and looked very, very good. About 1% plus on the Nifty Bank is what we had. Broader markets, a little more mixed through the course of the day. Advanced decline was negative, although that also came up and repaired quite nicely. I'll start with the sectors which were under pressure. Public sector as a space was under pressure. IT and metals were 2 other areas which saw some pressure. FMCG and consumer names were all the rage. Private banks, as I said, the Nifty Bank, a big reason why the broader market looked good. I'll get to stocks. Lever, Shriram Finance, ICICI Bank, the 2 big financial names there. There was Britannia, ITC, Tata Consumer. So, just a mix of private financials and consumer and FMCG stocks here. What was under pressure? ONGC, Tech Mahindra and Hindalco, which actually lost. Market breadth was negative, so I'll start with what was down. Godfrey Phillips, there was Tile Bazaar, Motilal Oswal, EIL, Raymond, Bector Foods, VST Industries was a sharp loser, and you had something like a ITD which lost as well. But big list of volume-led gainers once again. And to give you a sense of some, there was Premier Energy, which continues the stupendous run post the listing. Jubilant Pharma, Morrison Laboratories. There was Electro Steel. PNB Housing was a 7% mover. Deep Industries, recent listing. Ecos Mobility, GIC, RE. The jewelers, PC Jeweler, Moti Sons, TBZ, they all did very well. And they also were gains in names like Balu Forge, EPAC and Hikal. Just to name a few, there were others with volumes as well. So not a bad day at all for the broader market, despite that negative handover from Wall Street. Back to you.
All right, Prashant, many thanks. Now, two Mauritius-based foreign portfolio investors named in the report by Hindenburg on the Adani Group have moved the Securities Appellate Tribunal, that's SAT. The FBI has opposed the new SEBI rules on disclosure of beneficial ownership, which takes effect from today. Now, according to court filings accessed by Money Control, both Mauritius-based entities have filed a case on the 19th of August, and that's likely to be heard this week. The new rules mandate disclosure of beneficial ownership if the equity under management is more than 50% in a single corporate group, or if it amounts to 25,000 crore rupees in value. FPIs must disclose ownership and economic interest. The circular was first issued in August of last year, and it takes effect from today after multiple extensions were granted to this deadline. Now, in IPO corner, Bajaj Housing Finance 6,500 crore rupee offer fully subscribed within 4 hours. As things stand, its total subscriptions stood at over 1.5 times. The demand was led by the non-institutional investors, whose portions had seen a subscription of over 3.4 times. Resale portion also fully subscribed, launched with a price band of 66 to 70 rupees a share. The offer will close for subscription on the 11th of September. An electric two-wheeler maker Ather Energy has filed for a 3,100 crore rupee IPO, seeking a valuation of nearly $550 million. The IPO includes an offer for sale of up to 22 million shares by investors and promoters under the OFS route. Now, founders Tarun Mehta and Sanjay Mehta and Swapnil Babanlal Jain will offload 1 million equity shares. Ather's filing comes a month after Ola Electric's listing on the bourses. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has said that the electric mobility promotion scheme will be extended beyond September 30th. This will be the second extension granted to the scheme, which was launched in March this year after the expiry of the FAME 2 subsidy. Speaking on the sidelines of the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association annual session, the Minister said that the FAME 3 scheme will be introduced soon, with ongoing discussions on concerns flagged in the FAME 2 scheme.
What are all the FAME 2 issues that they wanted to upgrade it? For that they are working.
So EMPS was expiring by September. The gap between EMPS and FAME 3...
It will go into extra.
And sticking with electric vehicles, the Road Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari says he's not against any additional subsidies for electric vehicles. Gadkari also said he expects EVs to cost the same as petrol and diesel vehicles in the next 2 years. This comes after the minister just last week said that EV makers no longer need subsidies. Take a look.
I'm not against any incentives. Actually, the heavy industries minister is responsible. If you want to give more incentives on e-vehicle, I don't have any problem. What I was given my argument from my side, that when the e-vehicle starts, the cost of the vehicle, suppose is X. But now, at that time, the price of the lithium-ion battery was $150 per kilowatt per hour. Now it is something 108 to 110 kilowatt per hour. I am confident it will come $100. So, actually, my feeling was, because the number also, manufacturing number is also increased. So on the basis of that, my assessment was that without subsidy, you can maintain that cost because the cost of production is less.
That's Minister Gadkari. Now, shares of Ola Electric saw a volatile day as EV players' 1 month lock-in period for shareholders ended. Following the expiration, around 18 crore shares of 4% of the company's equity has become eligible for trading. After a rally in the last hour, Ola Electric shares ended higher by about 4%, so you can see the way that the stock moved up towards the close of trade. Suzlon Energy has won an order of 1,166 megawatts from NTPC Green Energy. The company says this is the largest wind energy order in India. This requires Suzlon to install 370 wind turbines, which will generate electricity to power 3 million households. Now, the GST Council is currently in a huddle with a packed agenda. The Finance Minister of Uttarakhand has told CNBC TV 18 that the decision to impose a higher tax on payment aggregators has been deferred. The proposal to impose 18% GST on the gateway fee imposed by payment aggregators has been sent back to the Rate Fitment Committee. The Council has also decided to exempt grant for R&D to universities from the ambit of GST. As things stand, at least 7 universities are facing tax notices worth 2,220 crore rupees. Worth 220 crore rupees on R&D grants. The Uttarakhand Finance Minister also said that he wasn't sure what would happen to these existing notices. Take a look.
सर वो ऑनलाइन ट्रांजैक्शन अप टू 2000
उसको भी फिटमेंट में भेजने का निर्णय हुआ
तो काउंसिल ने कोई निर्णय नहीं लिया है उसके
लगभग निर्णय ही है लेकिन फिटमेंट उसको कंफर्म करेगा
अच्छा तो मतलब कोई रेट की बात कुछ हुई नहीं कि लगना है नहीं लगना है क्या कितना
फिटमेंट कमेटी पे जा रहा है
अच्छा
We also understand from sources that the decision on insurance has been deferred. Timsy standing by with the details of what's been decided by the GST Council so far. Timsy.
Well, as you rightly said, we heard Uttarakhand Finance Minister saying that when it comes to the decision on the proposal to levy 18% GST on the income that has been made by providing the service to conduct a digital transaction below 2,000 rupees by a payment aggregator such as Pine Labs, Razorpay, etc. Well, on that particular front, the matter has been referred back to Fitment Committee. So as of now, the proposal has been deferred. The decision cannot be taken until and unless Fitment Committee comes back with more work. When it comes to the grants that have been given to universities, institutes for research and development, on that front, remember, DGGI had sent 220 crore worth notices to IIT Delhi, Punjab University, etc. 7 such institutes and universities had got this. On that particular proposal, that grants have been exempted from GST, so they are given that breather, that break, they won't be paying this 220 crore rupees. Meanwhile, sources tell me that when it comes to the proposal on exempting the premiums of life insurance and health insurance, on that particular front, the matter has been deferred. It has been sent back to the Fitment Committee for more work. Also, another matter that has been sent back to the Fitment Committee for more detailed work is the tax that was being levied on oil and gas exploration. What we were given to understand that the agenda was to discuss whether these services of farm in, farm out should be considered under the ambit of GST at 18% with ITC. Well, that particular proposal was also discussed in the council, and that particular proposal has been referred again back to the Fitment Committee, has been deferred right now. Both these health insurance premium and life insurance premium and oil and gas related matter on farm in, farm out will be taken back again in the next meeting with more detailed discussions that Fitment Committee will do during the time till the next meeting, and they'll come back to the council on this. Apart from that, other proposals are still under discussion. Let's see what happens finally when the council concludes and we hear it from Union Minister of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman doing a press conference later during the day.
All right, Timsy, many thanks for joining us. Now, the centre has appointed senior bureaucrat Tuhin Kanta Pandey as the new finance secretary. The vacancy was created following the appointment of TV Somanathan as the cabinet secretary last month. Pandey has been leading the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management since October of 2019. As per convention, the senior-most secretary in the Union Finance Ministry is designated as the finance secretary. The government has dissolved the 14-member Standing Committee on Statistics, which was led by former Chief Statistician Pranab Sen. The government said that the committee's work was overlapping with that of the newer Steering Committee for National Sample Surveys. Reports suggest that the members of the panel had allegedly questioned the government for the delay in conducting the census that has been due since 2020. Now, shares of SpiceJet up more than 4% today. This after the airline revealed plans to issue shares to Carlyle Aviation as part of a restructuring deal to convert a portion of its dues into equity. Speaking of SpiceJet, the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said the ministry is monitoring the airline situation closely. Also said that the Aviation Ministry is keeping an eye on air ticket fares on all routes during the festive season. Added that with rising demand, airlines need to work in balance.
स्पाइसजेट को हम देख रहे हैं अपनी तरफ से भी जो भी ये छोटे छोटे इश्यूज हो रहे हैं उनको भी हम सर्कुलर दे रहे हैं कि उसको ठीक करना चाहिए जल्दी से जल्दी जितना हो सके तो हम भी कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें भी ये जिस तरह से डिमांड है अपने देश में हमें भी ज़्यादा एयरलाइंस को काम करने की ज़रूरत है तो उस हिसाब से हम बैलेंस करते हुए चल रहे हैं कि जो समस्याएं हैं उनको भी ठीक करें और जो एयरलाइंस है वो भी ठीक तरह चले.
Now, the Enforcement Directorate has filed a case against Religear's Rashmi Saluja and other top officials. The officials have been accused of cheating and criminal conspiracy to block the Burman brothers from assuming ownership of Religear. Santya Gaur is standing by with more on the ED's allegations. Santya.
So Shireen, this particular complaint, this particular FIR by ED has made this case even more murkier, even more twisted. So it was on 6th of September that ED filed an FIR for cheating and criminal conspiracy against Rashmi Saluja, Nitin Agarwal and Nishant Singhal. This FIR has been filed by ED with the Mumbai police. Now this is what the FIR says. According to ED's FIR, complainant Vaibhav Gavli, who claimed to be a Religare shareholder, filed an FIR with Mumbai police, and his FIR was against the Berman brothers, where he accused them of conniving with the Singh brothers to cause financial irregularities in the firm, which led to huge financial losses for the shareholders. Now, ED in its complaint says that during its investigation, they found out that the complainant was not genuine. This is what the ED FIR says, that when questioned about the documents or any evidence, Vaibhav Gavli told ED that he does not have even a single document or evidence to prove his allegations against the Berman brothers. He said that his FIR was based on the material provided by these three accused, that is Saluja, Singhal and Agarwal. He said that he was instructed by these three accused to file this FIR 10-15 days before buying the Religare shares. He was introduced to these three people and they gave him 2 lakh rupees, 1,20,000 to buy Religare shares and 80,000 to file this FIR against the Berman brothers. Now, according to ED's FIR, Vaibhav Gavli has said that this was done by Saluja and others in order to block the acquisition, block the takeover of Religare by the Berman brothers. Once again, ED in its FIR has mentioned that Vaibhav Gavli in a statement said that Rashmi Saluja and others were diverting funds from Religare and its subsidiaries in the form of ESOPs, and they wanted to continue enjoying these benefits, which they were afraid won't be possible after the takeover. Hence, this effort by these accused to block the takeover. Now, ED has filed this FIR. On the other hand, Shireen, ED is also investigating a PMLA case, but in that case, interestingly, the Singh brothers are accused. So what turn this investigation is going to take, that remains to be seen, but it's certainly more twisted now. Shireen.
Yes, thanks very much, Santya. That's the latest update there on the battle between the Bermans and Rashmi Saluja and the Religare management. Here's the latest in the Axis Mutual Fund front-running case. The Enforcement Directorate has registered a case under the Foreign Exchange Management Act against former fund manager Viresh Joshi. The agency is also conducting searches on premises linked to Joshi and several other brokers. We will head into a break, but up next, who were India's highest-paid CEOs in FY24? We'll tell you when we return. IKEA's real estate arm Inca Centres is gearing up for its next big move in India. It's set to unveil its second major project in Delhi NCR called Likely Noida. The project will see an investment of about 5,500 crore rupees. The company is looking to complete the project by 2028 and create 9,000 jobs in Noida.
So today we have the unveiling ceremony. We have already gotten started, but today is the official start. And by 2028, we will open the doors to welcome all the visitors. And from an investment point of view, we're looking at 607 million euros. That's about 5,500 crores, to my understanding.
What we have learned is we have made very, very large stores, and they have almost been too big for the Indian consumers. So now we go down to a more decent size of still very big, 250 square feet in these two Likely centers. And I think that will also adjust much more from a range perspective, offer perspective, as I said, showing solutions even more integrated for the Indian consumers. And I'm hoping that this will be very good fit to the Indian market and to the Delhi NCR.
Well, from IKEA to HUL, shares of HUL surging in trade today. This after the FMCG major constituted an independent committee to assess the future of its ice cream business. In March 2024, Unilever PLC had shared its plans to separate its global ice cream operations, following which HUL explored strategic options for the ice cream business. HUL's new committee comprises of independent directors who will suggest alternatives that will eventually be reviewed by the board as well as the audit committee. Now, the average compensation for CEOs of Nifty 50 companies has risen to 27 crore rupees in FY24. This is just below the record compensation of 28 crore rupees we saw in FY22. Who tops the list? Yusuf is here with more. Yusuf.
The average remuneration of top executives at Nifty 50 companies surged to 27 crore rupees in FY24, which is an increase of 26% from FY23. During the year, top executives of Nifty 50 companies drew a combined compensation of 1,347 crore rupees, showed data compiled from their annual reports. So who tops the list? Wipro's former CEO Thierry Delaporte is on top with an annual compensation of 168 crore rupees, which also includes severance-related costs. Two more CEOs were part of 100 crore club in FY24. Pawan Munjal of Hero MotoCorp earned over 109 crore rupees, and Rajiv Jain of Bajaj Finance earned more than 101 crore rupees. Just below the 100 crore club, CP Gurinani of Tech Mahindra, the promoters of Divi's Lab, and Chief Vijay Kumar of HC Tech. So the top 6 companies put together, they earned 641 crore rupees, which is almost 48% of the total remuneration put together. 3 more executives earned more than 50 crore rupees in FY24. Infosys CEO Salil Parekh got a remuneration of over 66 crore rupees. Rajiv Bajaj of Bajaj Auto saw his pay increase by 13% to nearly 54 crore rupees. S.N. Subramanian of L&T earned over 51 crore rupees. Among state-owned companies, only 2 executives received compensation more than 1 crore rupees. Gurdeep Singh of NTPC and Arun Singh of ONGC. The lowest remuneration among the PSUs was the chairman of India's largest bank, SBI. Dinesh Khara, who has now retired, received a compensation of 39 lakhs rupees in FY24. All in all, the average compensation of 27 crore rupees for Nifty 50 executives is higher than 21 crore rupees we saw in FY23. But it is below the FY22 average of 28 crore rupees, which remains the highest on record.
Yusuf, many thanks for joining us. The big national story: the Supreme Court has directed the Central Bureau of Investigation to file a fresh status report on the alleged rape and murder case in Kolkata's RG Kar Hospital. The Apex Court has directed protesting doctors to resume work by tomorrow. The directive came after the West Bengal government claimed 23 people died due to doctors abstaining from work. Ashmit joins us now with more. Ashmit, take us through what transpired in the Supreme Court today.
Well, the RG Kar rape and murder case was up for consideration once again before the Apex Court. Took up a large chunk of the 2.5-hour hearing between 10:30 and 1 p.m. But what's important is that there are 3 key takeaways from today's proceedings. The first, with respect to the CBI status report. Now, that report was submitted. The Apex Court perused it. However, the Supreme Court remained mum, said that it may be premature to make any comments on that, to make any observations on that. It does not want to influence the investigation in any shape or form, and to that end has remained silent on it. The CJI-led bench, however, has directed the CBI to come back with a fresh status report on or before the next date of hearing, which is Tuesday of next week. That's one. The second aspect is with respect to the CISF personnel who have been deployed at the RG Kar facility for ensuring security. To that end, the West Bengal government has received very terse directions in terms of providing additional tools necessary for the CISF personnel to ensure security. So whether that's buses, cars, vehicles, metal detectors, all these facilities, including accommodation, that in fact was a big concern, red flagged by the CISF personnel. That has to be provisioned for by the West Bengal government. But the third part is perhaps the most critical. The West Bengal government highlighted that junior doctors across various hospitals in Kolkata have been protesting, that as many as 23 people have lost their lives, patients, because they did not receive the necessary care, that over 6 lakh patients went unattended, that this is something that is influencing the larger public health infrastructure, and that needs to be taken into account. The Apex Court on that issue has issued a terse warning to the doctors, saying that they have time till tomorrow 5 p.m. to rejoin work. If not that, the Apex Court said that the West Bengal government will be at liberty to take whatever penal action that they deem fit against the protesting doctors. And as an additional element, as an additional caveat, the Supreme Court said that if the doctors do join before 5 p.m. tomorrow, no action is necessary. So a strong warning, a strong message being sent out to the doctors by the Apex Court.
Ashmit, many thanks for joining us. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. The news will continue here on CNBC TV 18. Stay tuned. We're back in a moment with more.